CeCe, thank you again for doing this. And I just want to start first with genetic genealogy. Can you kind of break down just for people at home, what is this?
Genetic genealogy is the combination of using DNA and documentary records to learn more about someone's family tree. Traditionally, we used it to identify long dead ancestors. Everybody has what we call a brick wall in their family tree where they can't get past a certain point in the paper trail or the records. DNA can often help us get over that brick wall and learn more about our distant ancestors. Next, we started using it to help adoptees and people of unknown parentage find their biological families. And now we're using it to help law enforcement identify people from their DNA. We're only allowed to use it for violent crimes or to identify Jane and John Does who died without their identification.
Okay. And we know that this is something that the Pima County Sheriff's Department is looking at when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie case. How long can it take, though, when you have a potential DNA sample and you go through this route of genetic genealogy?
It can take quite a bit of time. Now, fortunately, the sheriff sent the DNA to a private lab that is kind of a one-stop shop. They're great at extracting the DNA from the evidence and then creating two separate profiles. The one that's uploaded to CODIS, the type of profile law enforcement has used for decades, and then the different type of profile that we need for genetic genealogy. And so it will save time to send it there because they were able to create both of those profiles in parallel. So we don't lose time when they don't get a CODIS hit, they can jump right to the genetic genealogy. Once they get that profile created, which is hundreds of thousands of genetic markers across the genome, I hear it's a mixture in this case, at least one of the samples. So then they have to work with the bioinformatics scientists to separate out that DNA and make sure that they are working on the person of interest DNA. Then once that's done, it's uploaded to the databases that have agreed to work with law enforcement on the genealogy side. Unfortunately, even though there are over 50 million people who have taken direct-to-consumer DNA tests, the top 3 companies have barred law enforcement's use. And so we are limited to the 3 smallest databases: GEDmatch, Family Tree DNA, and DNA Justice. So they will upload that raw data file to those databases where it's compared against everyone in the database that has agreed to work with law enforcement. And so then we get what's called a match list. But our match list is different than CODIS. We are not going to find that exact person. We are looking for relatives, and we can work with second, third, fourth, fifth cousins, and sometimes even beyond that, to reverse engineer the family tree of this person of interest based on who they're sharing DNA with. So the people that show up on that match list are really partial matches. They might only share 1% of their DNA, maybe even less. But that means that they have a common ancestor with that unknown suspect or person of interest. And so our job is to identify who those common ancestors are between the matches, right? Because we know who they are, we can build their family trees. So we're looking for patterns, overlaps, triangulations between the family trees of those individuals. So we're not just working with one match, we're working with a whole network, often a dozen matches, sometimes up to 3 dozen matches. And we're looking how all of those matches combine into one family tree. Who's that one person or immediate family that is related to all of those people sharing significant amounts of DNA with our unknown suspect. Now, when we say significant, again, that can be a very small amount, but it helps us to piece back together that person of interest family tree, ancestor by ancestor. We build forward in time, looking for the descendants of those sets of ancestors and how it all converges.
And I know that this process has been used in other high profile cases like the Idaho 4, Brian Koberger's arrest. I believe it was used then. How long, though, can this take for genetic genealogists to kind of pull and reverse that family tree?
Once we get that match list, it can sometimes just be minutes or hours, and it can stretch out into years. The fastest I've been able to identify a person of interest is 20 minutes. And then I have some cases I'm still working after 7 years. However, I will say with the resources going into this case, it won't take years. My best guess is weeks. If it's a person who has deep roots in the United States, it might just be hours. So it really depends on the population group of the person or persons they are trying to identify.
Yeah. I know here in Arizona, we've also seen familial DNA used when it comes to cases. Can you describe for people the difference between familial DNA and how that is used in some of these criminal cases?
I'm really glad you brought that up because there's a lot of confusion between familial DNA and genetic genealogy, and they're two different things. Familial DNA searches are allowed in the law enforcement databases in some states, and they are looking for a very close relative. So if they don't get that exact match in the law enforcement database, in some cases, they're allowed to do a familial search, but it can only detect immediate relatives, typically first degree, which is parent, child, or full sibling. They can also do a YSTR search in the database. It's a little bit more complex, but they're looking for someone who shares a Y chromosome with the unknown male person of interest. And that would mean they share their direct paternal line. They might have the same surname then.
An important distinction, something that people do really confuse all of the time. When we look at the DNA in this case, we know that they are saying that they had some from inside the home. They also had some from these gloves that were found 2 miles away. Now, we don't know the strength in these samples. Can you describe for people what that would mean, a strength in sample?
Sure. So there are varying amounts of DNA that are left behind in different samples. If you have, for instance, a blood sample, that would provide a lot of DNA. Any type of biological fluid, semen, saliva, is a very strong source of DNA. But you can also detect DNA from what is called transfer, or it's more commonly known as touch DNA. That's usually just a few skin cells, although it can be more if somebody has handled something for a long time. If your hand is in a glove, you're going to leave a lot of that transfer DNA there. So it's still very doable. Regardless of what type of DNA, it can absolutely still be used. The equipment has gotten so sensitive that we really just need a few skin cells to be able to create the profiles needed for both law enforcement profiles and genetic genealogy. So I have a lot of confidence they will be able to extract enough DNA to be able to create those profiles. This lab, the private lab that the sheriff sent the samples to, is extremely good at extracting DNA. In fact, a lot of my successful cases are ones that they have done the DNA extraction on, because that's not something Parabon does. So I have full confidence that they will be able to create those profiles. And once those are created, there's no doubt in my mind that these unknown DNA contributors will be identified.
As we see these collections, right? We obviously had one in the home. We also have had search warrants play out, and we don't know exactly what they have gathered from those search warrants. But if they have had DNA, how long could this process take of, matching everything up or not matching everything up where you see what that DNA is telling you?
If they've collected DNA from persons of interest, that one-to-one comparison is extremely quick, and I'm sure it's already been done. And so that's something that is very straightforward. The same with the CODIS comparisons. They already have uploaded into that database, and we've been told they don't have a match. That also is very quick. The genetic genealogy, that can stretch out. It can either be a very quick identification, or it could potentially take weeks, even longer. I think with the resources on this case, it won't be longer than weeks. But if it is somebody who has recent immigrant ancestry, meaning if they were born in another country, their parents, their grandparents, and even back to the great grandparents, it could take a lot longer because we just don't have as much representation in the small databases we have access to. If I was the Guthrie family, I would be begging Ancestry DNA, 23andMe to allow comparisons to be done in their databases, because it will be a much, much quicker identification. But they are very resistant to that. It's possible that the agency or the FBI could serve a warrant on those companies. I think it will be a big knockdown, drag out fight if they do. but I think that law enforcement will likely gain access if that happens. And in that case, he will be identified much, much more quickly.
And as someone who, is an expert in this field, we have so many people watching here in the US and even internationally this case. Is there something that you had a thought about that you would like people to know?
I think it's easy to second guess what the law enforcement agencies are doing behind the scenes, but in reality, we don't know. I've worked on hundreds and hundreds of cases, and in many of those, there has been a lot of speculation and commentary from the public, and it can be very frustrating because they don't really know what's happening behind the scenes.